So good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's July 28th. We're like one step closer to July being over with. How crazy is that? It's Wellness Wednesday, and we'll start off with our daily pledge. Today is a new day. I'm ready to be the best me I can be. I will listen so I can learn. I will try hard so my brain can grow. I will not give up. I can learn anything I put my mind to. Today is a new day, a new opportunity to be your best self, to work on your goals, to get some tasks done, to learn a new skill, whatever it may be. Check yourself every day that your feet plant the floor. How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? What do you need to be doing for yourself? If you're not feeling well and you know that things aren't right, we need to make some changes. We all go through that period of time when we just start to realize that we just aren't well. We can't necessarily put our finger on it, but things aren't well, and we need to keep doing things, some self-care. We need to do some reflection on how are we feeling? What's going on? Remember, I talked about, are you eating right? Are you sleeping right? Are you drinking plenty of water? Like I think I said this last week, if you don't drink enough water, we get dehydrated. And if we get dehydrated, other things can start to happen. And then your body starts to fall apart. Your physical health and your mental health work hand in hand. So if we're not taking care of one or the other, they all start to go. So it's a balancing act. Remember your self-care wheel. Every day, take a look at all of the different pies, the little pieces of the pie. Are you trying to balance out all of those areas? Because it truly is important for not only for your physical health, but your mental health. So today, drum roll please, my topic that I thought was super appropriate. I don't know if any of you have been watching the Olympics, but I have slightly. I guess I've been reading about it more than I've been watching it. But there's just been some things going on in the women's gymnastics part that I've found kind of amusing. They're talking about mental health. And one of the gymnasts actually took herself out of the competition because she knew that her mental health was bad. To the point where doing gymnastics, if you aren't focused and on top of your game, you could get very, very seriously hurt. Also cost the rest of your team a medal. And so now mental health is coming back into the media, and they're talking about this. And did she make the right decision? And how a lot of people are trying to support her. And so one of the things that I believe comes out of this, we think about athletes and we think about ourselves, our everyday life. We think about being a people pleaser. So that's my topic today, being a people pleaser. So here's some questions to ask yourself. Are you a people pleaser? Number 1, do you pretend to agree with everyone around you? Number 2, do you feel responsible for other people's feelings? Number 3, do you find yourself apologizing often? Number 4, do you feel burdened by the things you're doing? Number 5, do you find yourself unable to say no? Number 6, do you feel uncomfortable when someone becomes angry at you? Number 7, do you find yourself trying to act like the people around you? Are you trying to be like those people, not yourself? Number 8, do you need people to praise you so you feel good? Do you need that validation to feel good? Number 9, do you find yourself trying really hard to avoid conflict? And number 10, do you not admit to having your feelings hurt? Do you brush it off? Suck it up, move on, stay quiet, you don't say anything? What does that look like? If you answered yes to any of those or all of those, you are a people pleaser. Being a people pleaser not only prevents you from achieving your own goals, it also increases your anxiety, it increases your depression, it's a loss of identity. You don't know who you are and what you want because you're so consumed by other people and trying to please them and trying to fit in so that other people like you. I thought this was a priceless worksheet. It says the many faces of a people pleaser. Now, let me know if you notice this. This is the many faces of a people pleaser. Happy, bored, angry, terrified, defensive, depressed, depressed, or dying inside. What is the commonality between all of these faces of a people pleaser? She's smiling the whole time. So, I thought this was so true, and I just thought this really just kind of hit home for me as far as when I think about people that are people pleasers. Let's face it, a lot of us truly are. No matter what, you're always smiling. Doesn't matter if you're happy or mad or angry or depressed. Doesn't matter if you're terrified or you're just completely dying inside. You always look the same. So I thought this was a really great worksheet. The many faces of a people pleaser. She's always smiling. Here are 4 signs of people pleasing, all right? The first one is deeply worried. Others are mad at you, always worrying about what other people are thinking and if they're mad at you and what you did wrong or what you could have done differently or what you could do to make them happy. The next one is chronically scared to disappoint others. If you have noticed that you are just always walking on eggshells, you're tiptoeing around, you're bending over backwards to make other people happy, you are sacrificing yourself and your time and your energy so that nobody's disappointed with you. That is a people pleaser. The next one is perfectionist with deep shame or failure. You want to be the absolute spitting shininess, the most perfect thing that ever walked the face of the earth because A, you don't want to upset people and you don't want to disappoint them. And so you work on being true perfection and it is never going to be achievable. So what happens to you? People that are people pleasers get extremely depressed. They can become suicidal. They have no confidence, no self-esteem. They lose everything inside of them because they're trying so hard to be perfect and it's not happening. And so they start to feel shame and failure. Chronically neglecting oneself for others. When you're never taking care of yourself, you're not making those appointments, you're not spending time with friends, you're not doing your self-care items because other people need you apparently, right? So you're going to help them, you're taking care of what they need to get done, maybe you're bringing them to an appointment, maybe you're supporting them with their things, and you're never taking care of yourself. Never one time. That's a people pleaser. Here are some more signs that you're a people pleaser. You put other people's needs before your own, allowing others to take advantage of your kindness. You're avoiding conflict, taking care of others. Feel guilty when you take care of yourself. If you start to feel bad about yourself, then you are feeling guilty because now you did something nice for yourself, but that's not okay. That's not okay. We have to be comfortable to know that we took a bath for ourselves and that was great. But I understand this. So that's why it's important for me to share it with you. I myself, I would like to think that I'm on the recovery of people pleasing. But, obviously this is a continued work in progress. And so people pleasing is like a serious disorder that we have to work on, right? Finding it hard to say no, doing things out of obligation, stay in unsatisfying relationships or situations. You're in certain situations because you're trying to make sure that they're okay and you're worried what's going to happen if you leave them. That's not okay. That's not your deal. That's their own deal. Minimizing your own feelings and needs, worrying about the future, having a hard time with uncertainty. You never know what's going to happen because you don't even know what you want. You've lost yourself becoming a people pleaser. And you compromise your own values so that people will like you. That's not okay. So how are we going to stop being a people pleaser? Well, I got a few tips. However, it truly comes with inside ourselves. A lot of it comes with just trying to build our self-esteem, finding that courage to do what you know is right, getting some grit inside, getting that fire going in your belly to just know that you have to set a boundary and you have to stick to it, no matter what the consequences are. They may not like you anymore. They may say awful things to you. You may be cut out of the group, whatever it may be, and they may do something stupid to themselves. However, that is not your problem, okay? So 6 ways to stop being a people pleaser. Number 1, recall your priorities by saying yes. Write down all the things that are a priority to you. Get out a piece of paper. Sometimes you have to write things down to see it, to believe it, to practice it. Write them down. Write down all of your priorities and right next to it, write yes. Yes, yes. You have to practice saying yes. Otherwise, you're always saying no to yourself. If one of your top priorities is making sure that once a week you go have coffee with a friend, write it on your paper and right next to it, write yes. And then I want you to schedule that on the calendar. Start scheduling things. Sometimes the only way to start making like small improvements with this is to schedule it on the calendar. Write it down. I'm going to have coffee with Sandy this week on Thursday at 10 o'clock. And I'm going and I'm saying yes, and nobody's going to change that plan. You have to start taking those little steps to making that difference. So write down all your priorities and write yes next to it, and then start scheduling that time. Even if it's, I'm going to take a bath Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And then Joe calls and says, hey, Becky, can you come help me do that at 6 o'clock on Tuesday? No, I can't. I am busy at that time. I have things going on. That's how you start doing that. The more you practice like scheduling that time, it's just going to become second nature, and you won't have to do that all the time, but it is a good way to practice. The next one is realize that people pleasing can turn you into a doormat. We have to take a step back and look at ourselves. When you're writing on that piece of paper, write down what are your goals? What do you want for yourself? What are your hopes and dreams? If you can't write anything down, then we know we have a situation. And we know that you've been people-pleasing for such a long time that you've lost yourself. Just start taking little notes. Start journaling every day. Little journal assignments about what you liked about the day, what you were grateful for. What do you think would be fun to do someday? What do you think like a good hope and dream would be? Just start doing these little things every single day. They're going to add up to big things. You have to start somewhere, right? Though practicing, scheduling, writing, make no your default answer. So no should only be like the kind of like it's always going to, if somebody's asking you, spit it out, Becky. I think my iced coffee's kicking in. If somebody's going to ask you questions, I always say, no, I'm busy right now, or I'll get back to you on that one. You don't necessarily even have to say no all the time. I'll get back to you on that. Do not postpone the decision or communication. We can't put things off for a long period of time. You know, like if somebody says, hey, can you help me move my apartment all week long, and I need you to do that for me and whatever. I say, oh, well, I'll get back to you in a couple of weeks. Don't procrastinate with the answer. Don't procrastinate with the communication, because you know what happens? We sit there and we stew, and then we think about it. Then we feel awful and we feel guilty, and then we say yes when you don't want to, or maybe you don't have time to. So don't procrastinate. Say it now and get it over with. We got to get it out of the way. And do not fabricate fake reasons. You do not owe justification to any single person. Do not make up fake answers. Do not make up fake situations. Just simply say no. I'm busy. I have things going on. It's none of their business. What you have going on doesn't matter, but you're busy and you don't want to. Or just simply say, I don't want to. I'm not interested in helping you with that. I'm sorry, but here's some resources for you. It may sound really harsh, and it's not meant to sound rude or snotty, but it's just setting a boundary. And sometimes the only way for people to listen to you is just to say, no, I don't want to. Here are some more reminders for people pleasers. You aren't responsible for other people's emotions. Their emotions and their thinking is not your responsibility. Remember your circle of control. If you know that you're getting sucked back into that people-pleasing mode, get out your control wheel and think to yourself, I am only control of myself. I cannot control everybody else around me. Focus on yourself. Remember, you are not responsible for other people's emotions. Number 2, people pleasers are easily manipulated. Don't fall in the trap. Set up your boundaries. Okay, think to yourself boundaries. What is going on? Saying no. No, you're not going to clean their house for them just because they don't feel like it. No, you don't have to drive them around town all the time. Get the taxi, get some Rainbow Rider. It's not your fault that maybe they're, financially they can't afford it. Then you need to work on budgeting. We have to remember that the way people live or how things are going in their life are not our responsibility. All right? Number 3, every time you say yes to something or someone, you are unwittingly saying no to someone or something else at the same time. Whatever it is, you have to set a boundary, and you have to be okay with that. If you're going to tell one person no and one person yes, whatever it is, at the end of the day, make sure you're taking care of you. Make sure that, remember, we're going to write down our priorities, we're going to schedule them, and we're not going to modify them for other people, okay? Now, obviously, emergencies happen, things do come up, but in order to prevent people-pleasing, write them down, schedule them, and do not allow other people to change those plans. You don't let you change those plans, okay? Number 4, trying to please people drains all your resources, okay? If you're spending all of your time trying to please other people, you've lost yourself. You have no ambition to, take care of your physical health or your mental health or whatever you have going on around your house. So stop. Schedule the things that you need done for you. If you have a little time in between, great. If not, use it for downtime. You don't have to fill up your time helping other people because you feel like that's going to make you feel better or they're going to like you more. Most of the time, we're helping other people as a way of like trying to earn their friendship or make them like us or want them to care about us. But people should just care about us and want to spend time with us and not always need something from us. Number 5, you cannot please everyone all the time. Just stop trying to please everyone all the time. Family, friends, coworkers, whatever it is. We all have our own situations, right? We could even talk about it here at our office. We all have our own things going on sometimes, our own life stressors. We can't always please everyone, right? Because sometimes we just have to look at ourselves and we know that our cup is empty and we need to fill up our own cup before we can enjoy anybody else around us. And so take a look at that cup. Is your cup empty or is it full? Whatever it is, you need to take a step back and take care of yourself. Number 6, when you try to please everyone, you end up disappointing almost everyone, especially yourself. When you're constantly trying to be somebody that you're not and you're trying to please other people, most often you disappoint them and yourself. And now where are you at? You're at the bottom of the hole. You feel depressed. You feel anxious. You feel like giving up. You feel just complete shame and guilt because nothing worked out, but you tried too hard and you compromised yourself and your own priorities for others, and in the end, now we're totally lost. So we have to figure out a way to stop doing that. We have to figure out a way that to get it in our brain that it's okay with people to be disappointed with you. It's okay that people don't like who you are, what you're doing. It doesn't matter. All that we can focus on is ourselves, right? Our control. Number 7, people will respect you more. When you set boundaries and stick to who you are and what matters to you, people respect you more. And then the people that are left in your life, when you start setting boundaries and respecting yourself, those are the people that will matter because those are the people that are going to love you for who you are. They don't need anything from you. They just want to spend time with you. They just want to be around you. So when you stop people pleasing, you get rid of all the negativity. You get rid of the people that were sucking you dry. You get rid of all the toxic energy, and you start realizing that there are only a few good people maybe that have really truly cared about you, and those are the relationships that you start watering. Number 8, staying true to your values. You have to stick to who you are and what you want. And number 9, and finally, as a kind-hearted person who says yes only when you want to. You only get to say yes when you want to. Even though you're a kind-hearted soul that would give the shirt off your back to anybody, you only have to say yes when you truly want to. So people pleasers of the world, which we all are, we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. You have to set boundaries. You only have to say yes when you want to. You never have to give a reason as to why you're saying no. And most importantly, you are not responsible for anybody else but yourself. Write down your priorities. Start scheduling them on your calendar and do not compromise that. Nobody else gets that time but you. And if they want you during that time, you have to say, sorry, I'm busy. And you don't have to tell them why. So this was important to me. I thought people pleasing, we could go over this for hours because it's just such a huge part of so many people's lives. But don't forget about this girl. The many faces of a people pleaser. She always has one face and she's smiling and she doesn't mean it. Let's not be that girl. When you're angry, you should look angry. When you're frustrated, you should look frustrated. And when you're happy, you should be beaming, right? Woo! So your challenge today is to take a good look at yourself. Are you a people pleaser? And if you are, what are you going to do about it? You're going to write down your priorities. You're going to start scheduling them. You're going to start saying no. You're going to say yes only when you want to. And you're going to take care of you and not worry about everybody else's happiness around you because there's nothing you can do about it. But most importantly, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Remember, check your mental health checking account. Whatever you're taking out, you need to deposit things back in. Self-care. Drink lots of water. It's going to be really hot today, but do something kind for yourself and take a look at your people pleasing. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next Monday.